Welcome to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, the show that puts the spotlight on the incredible women who fuel the world of motorsports. From drivers to crew members, engineers to fans, and everyone in between, we're here to celebrate the trailblazers, dreamers, and doers shaping the sport we love. Each episode, we share inspiring stories of females of all ages, from every corner of the motorsports universe, past, present, and future. It's a journey through the seasons of life filled with heartfelt moments, laughter, and a whole lot of horsepower. So whether you're a lifelong fan, a racer yourself, or simply curious about the extraordinary women behind the wheel, settle in, relax, and enjoy a fun and uplifting ride with us. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, connecting and celebrating women in motorsports, one story at a time. Let's hit the track.
Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And I have a couple of sisters here today, Haylee and Sophia. They are both race car drivers. And so we're going to learn a little bit more about them and why they love motorsports. So Haylee and Sophia, welcome to the show. I'm going to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So Haylee, why don't you start?
Hi, I'm Haylee. I'm a senior in high school. I'm 17 years old. I race dirt and asphalt. Some of my hobbies are like painting and skiing, and I have 2 dogs. And I love spending time with my family.
All right, Sophia.
My name is Sophia. I'm from Goshen, Connecticut. I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm homeschooled. I enjoy racing, obviously, and I like to go skiing with my friends when I have free time to go.
So snow skiing.
Yeah.
Not water skiing. Yeah, that's what
I
I
think.
think.
I want to try water skiing, but I've never had the chance.
Yeah. You almost have to go somewhere like Michigan's a great place to do that because we have so many lakes.
Yeah.
Small lakes, big lakes. Yeah. So maybe you'll have to come race out here sometime and then you can try skiing. That would be fun for sure. So, girls, you both race. You told me you started racing at the same time. So Haylee, why don't you tell us who got you started? How did you get started? Did your dad take you to the track? Just tell us the beginnings of whose idea was it to start racing?
Yeah, so my dad raced offshore powerboats for the majority of our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was a big gymnast. So my gymnastics coach actually started up this quarter midget program where he basically just rented a bunch of cars and he just helped people get into the sport. So he came up to me one day in gymnastics practice. I was on vault, I remember it. And he was just like, do you have any interest in racing? I was like, of course. And yeah, then we just started the novice school training, which is what it was called. And from there, we kind of just progressed. But it was definitely, we all always raced as a family. And then my gymnastics coaches helped us get into the cars.
So I wonder it doesn't seem like a gymnastics coach and a race car driver. So I wonder how he got interested. Do you know?
So he raced growing up too. He was friends with David Gravel and Joey Logano, all of them. They all raced together in the club.
Okay. That's very cool. That's a new one. I mean, when I interview people, the stories are never the same. Everybody has a different story, but some of them are similar. But this I've never heard, that the gymnastics coach started to get you interested. So I love that. So Haylee, you got interested first, and then did you go home and say, Sophia, do you want to race, or did you take gymnastics too, Sophia?
No, I did not do gymnastics, but I heard my parents talking about it, and then I kind of just begged to try and actually go to the track. And after a couple weeks, we just decided that we should try it, and it stuck ever since.
And how old were you girls when that happened?
11, I think.
I think I was 13 or 14, yeah.
Okay. All right. So 4 years ago or so?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay. And are you the only 2 in the family, the only 2 kids?
No, we have an older sister, Allie. She likes to work on all of our cars, so she helps a lot with racing.
Okay. And how old is Allie?
22.
22. Yep.
Okay. All right. So she's out of school and probably works or goes to school, but she likes to help work on the cars. That's pretty cool that everybody in the family's involved. So did your dad know anything about, like you said, he did power boats, but that's different than a quarter midget for sure.
Yeah.
So did he know anything really about like setting him up and that, or did he have to learn everything?
He had to learn it all. He didn't really know a lot because obviously it's a lot different than water. But he picked up on it quick. He's really smart. So
yeah. So Sophia, what's your dad the best at? Is he a good coach? Is he good on working on the car? What's he do the best?
He's pretty good at all of it. He's a pretty good mechanic. So I would say working on the cars, but he's actually a pretty good coach to coach me and my sister through like hard times or to learn from a mistake that we made instead of being down on ourselves because it's a mistake. So he's pretty good.
I love hearing that because sometimes dads can be kind of hard on their daughters.
Yeah.
So I love hearing that
he is, but
in a good way, though.
In a good way. Yeah, absolutely. But in a good way for sure. So, Haylee, let's start with you. Tell me about your car. What do you drive? What color is it? What number? All that kind of stuff.
Well, my micro, I have 600 micro. My number's 5H. And it's white and green. And the only reason why it's green is because my sponsor's color is green. So that's why I took the green.
Okay.
If I had any choice in color, it'd be pink and blue. But, and then my asphalt midget was pink and blue, and that number was 15. But for the upcoming season, it's just going to be number 5.
Okay. And how did you pick that number?
It's my favorite number. I like doing things in like 5s. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite number is 55, and that's because that's the year I was born. So yes, I'm really old. I could be your grandma. But so isn't it funny that when you have a favorite number that you see that number all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's on license plates and it's just, you see it all the time. It's just so funny. So Sophia, tell me about your cars.
So my micro is black. So I have a black car and a white car, but the stickers are the same. So they're like a teal and like a purple.
Okay.
And my number for that is 29 because of my dad's back to boat racing. There was another competitor's boat that I was pretty close with. So which their number was 29. So I just carried it on through like quarter midget racing.
Okay.
And for this upcoming season, I'm racing SK Light at Stafford Motor Speedway. I don't know if you've heard of it, but the color for that's going to be orange because it's another color that I enjoy. Like I like. It's probably my favorite color. But the number for that's going to be 08 because the owner of the cars, that's his lucky number. So
okay.
They both have pretty cool backgrounds.
And so you said you're going to be at Stafford?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I listened to a podcast called In the Pits, and it's produced out of Maine. I'm not sure exactly what town in Maine, but Scott Tapley is on that podcast, and he does stuff at Stafford, or he used to. I don't know if he still is like the promoter for Stafford, but he was for a long time. So I'm familiar with Stafford. Yeah. Just enough, I know about it.
It's a pretty big, like,
well-known track.
Yeah, well-known track in the asphalt side of things.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. So, tell me, what do you like most about racing?
Like for me, besides just like the spending my time with like my family and doing it together, it just like it's something I really enjoy. I mean, like you have your bad days here and there, but it's just something at the end of the day, like I know I could go out into the shop and I could just work, and I don't know, just something I really enjoy to do.
Yeah. How about you, Sophia?
I would say doing it with your family is a big thing. You spend a lot of time together, you travel a lot, and you have a lot of memories. And that's probably my favorite thing besides obviously racing.
Right. Because that's so fun when your whole family's involved and you really feel like, you've got people to depend on for one thing, but it's just something that you have fun memories, and those will last you girls a lifetime. I know you don't really realize it right now because you're so young, but someday you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, those were some really fun times that we had, even if you had things go wrong, because there's always things that go wrong when you're involved in racing and at the racetrack. So, Haylee, what do you do when you have a bad day at the racetrack?
I know, like, I try to, like, just go into my trailer and, like, for example, like, if I make a big mistake on the track, I always go to, like, watch my GoPro footage or just a video of it just so I can learn from it. Because, I mean, we all make mistakes, but, like, you don't want to just, like, not own up to the mistake you did. You want to, like, learn from it. So I'd say that. But I try not to, like, get upset, like, around people because, like, you know, it's okay to be upset after a race and just go learn from what you did, you know?
Yeah. And if you want to be upset in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sophia, what do you do?
I would say the same thing. Just if you make a mistake, try to learn from it instead of denying the fact that you did it and keep repeating that mistake over and over. So watching videos, and if I feel like throwing a fit, I'm going to throw a fit, not in front of everyone, but
yeah,
I would say about the same.
Well, and sometimes if it's somebody else's fault, you really want to throw a fit, you know, but that's not always a good thing to do. So I'm glad to see, you know, that you at least know that it's not appropriate for the whole racetrack to see that you're having a fit. Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. So, couple girls like you probably have some little fans. So when you have like autograph night or something, do you have any little girls or any even little boys fans that come up to you and follow you?
Well, we don't really have autograph night. We've never attended one of those events, so not really. But there's like a few of like friends from quarter midgets and stuff that keep following us through all the races we do. So they come out and support and keep in contact. But I'm excited because actually at Stafford they do like autograph nights. I've never raced at Stafford. It's my first season there. So I'm excited to see how that is and how a night like that looks like because I've never done it.
That's going to be fun. And probably the same for you, Haylee. Is this your first year at Stafford?
I'm not racing at Stafford as much.
Okay.
So I'll be doing a full season for points. I might do a couple of races here and there, but I'll be racing out in Indy 4 times throughout the year. So that will be like in the asphalt midget. So that's like my main focus in asphalt this year. And then like my free weekends, I'll definitely try to get down to Stafford and do a couple races. But.
Yeah. And I missed where you said you're going to run for points.
She said that I was going to run for points.
Oh, you're going to run for points. Okay. Yeah. All right. Got it. Got it. Okay. Very good. So, is racing something you think you'd like to keep doing for a while?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really hard to like make it in the racing world, but I mean, that would be the dream, you know, like, and you just have to work your hardest. And I think if you really wanted to do that, which I mean, I would love, you just have to continue and just not give up on like the bad days. Just have to push through it.
I would have to agree with that. Like, it's hard, but if you really want to make it your career, you have enough like motivation to keep pushing through, and I think it's a good career to have.
Yeah, it is. And you know, the thing about it is, of course you want to be the driver. I get that. But there are so many opportunities in motorsports besides being the driver that even if that part doesn't work out, I mean, you can do just about anything that you like and that you enjoy and tie motorsports into it. So I love that part of our sport because you can't do that with softball and some other sports, but you sure can do that with racing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Haylee, what was your biggest challenge when you first started racing? What was the hardest thing to learn?
My hardest, okay, so I started a little later than Sophia. I had a little delay because I did get hurt in gymnastics. So that took me out for like basically a whole season almost. So I really didn't have that much. So I would definitely just say like being like really aggressive, like not like dirty, but just like in quarter midgets, like it took me a little longer to like get the passing and just all of that. I definitely say that. And like in the dirt, it took me a while to just like figure out the track. Like, where is the grip? Where is it not? Because we had no dirt experience until that put us into a 600. So it was definitely a big jump from the quarter midgets. But I'd say that was probably like the hardest thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to say the same thing with the dirt, like finding the grip and where the fastest line is at that for like that lap, say. And also like learning like different moves. Like obviously you have like the basic passing and stuff, but like different things that you could do so they would not really predict what you're going to do as like you're racing another driver. So that's probably the top two things that are the most difficult to learn.
Okay. So you girls did start a little later than some. I mean, there's some kids out there at 5 years old and that are racing, and it just floors me to see some of those little tiny, because they're so little. They just look so little to me. But what did you ever feel like when you started racing that you didn't fit in, or that the boys didn't accept the girls, or did you ever have anything like that, or were you pretty much accepted from the start?
I mean, in quarter midgets, definitely not. Like, I mean, we were all really good friends.
Yeah, we were all pretty.
We were all super close, and we all hang out. Like, obviously, what happens on the track happens on the track. But normally, we'd always, at the end of the day, we'd all just hang out and just have a good time.
It'd be resolved within a couple of hours.
Yeah, it wasn't really that serious. You just talk about it, and it is what it is.
And that's probably because a lot of those kids were from the gymnastics place, or at least from your community to where you already knew them.
Yeah. I mean, I only knew a couple people from gymnastics at the track, but definitely it helped knowing my coach, Johnny, he introduced us to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was kind of an outgoing kid, and so was Sophie. So we all kind of just.
Okay. That helps a lot if you can put yourself out there and not be afraid and say, hey, this is my name, and blah, blah, and make friends. Yeah. Because the friendships are going to last long after the racing's over. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we don't race with those kids as much anymore. But we're all still good friends. When you see them, you're all just the same.
Excited and glad to see them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your season hasn't started yet, I'm sure, because you guys are getting snow and ice and stuff just like we are in Michigan. When the season starts, what are you looking forward to the most?
Oof. For me, besides the racing itself, I love traveling. So definitely the new places and just all the new tracks. And I love the late nights in the shop, even though it's very stressful in the race season. It just is just my favorite part of it, honestly, just working on the cars and learning.
So I was just going to say, why is that your favorite part? Because that's not normal. I mean, not to say that's, but I mean, a lot of girls are not that mechanically inclined sometimes, and they don't really necessarily want to learn, even though their parents are like, if you're going to race, then you're going to learn. But you're kind of the opposite. So you love being out there.
I love being out there. And I know it's my responsibility to do my stuff for racing. So if I want to race the next weekend, I need to be able to clean the car, maintain them, do all that. And I also think it's better to learn about the car, because the more you know about the car itself, it actually helps you as a driver. And you could I could tell my dad maybe do this adjustment or this. And I do set up my car, my micro. I'm still learning about the asphalt midget, but I can set up my micro and to go racing for the track, and it just makes it
pretty good.
Yeah, and it takes a little stuff off my dad's back,
Yeah, because he's trying to take care of 4 cars.
Yeah, and with work and all of that.
Yeah. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Sophia, how about you? Are you interested in that too, or not?
Yeah, I enjoy going in the garage and working and learning, because like she said, it does help you perform better when you know how the car works and what makes what do what. But my thing that I'm most excited for about this season is probably the SK and learning a whole new thing, because I've only practiced it once with Keith Rocco. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He races at Stafford.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, but I'm just excited to work with all them and meet new people and learn more.
Now, how far is Stafford from where you live?
I think it's about an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, so less than 2 hours. That's not bad.
That's close for us. Yeah. We're used to driving 4+ hours.
Yeah. The event. I tell people all the time, I'm so spoiled. Michigan's kind of a hotbed for racing, really, although you might not think about it. And I could drive an hour or less, way less in any direction and be at a racetrack.
Yeah.
But not dirt. The dirt track, we only have one dirt track that's close, and it's a little over an hour. The rest of them are asphalt tracks, and I have a drag strip close. And so I'm spoiled because, I can kind of pick and choose who's having a big race. Where do I want to go, to watch? I used to go watch my granddaughter all the time. She's not going to race this year. So I'll have even more freedom this year to kind of check. But I'm with you, Haylee. I love going to different tracks and seeing what the track's like and who's racing there and all that kind of stuff. And I think Stafford's going to be a lot of fun for you, Sophia, for sure.
I think
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys are busy. Do you play any other sports?
Nope.
No,
Okay.
I did gymnastics, but then I had to stop that.
Yeah, because you're focusing on the racing, but you still have school, and you have to keep your room clean and do your homework and all that good stuff. So how do you manage that? Do you have like kind of a routine, or you're working out in the shop helping your dad? How do you manage that so you're not dragging and tired all the time? What's kind of your schedule?
I mean, I have a pretty busy schedule. I wake up early for school. I leave early some days because I'm a senior, so I have like those. I'm allowed to do that on some days, and then I come home. Sometimes I'll go to work, and then I normally am out in the shop, And before my dad gets home, if I have to like clean my room or put clothes away, that's kind of my time to do that.
Yeah.
Or just because once my dad gets home, like I know I have to be out in the shop making sure like I'm getting the stuff done.
Yeah. So, Sophia?
So I'm homeschooled, like I said earlier, and it makes it a lot easier because I'm home all day. I do have like Zoom calls that I have to like attend, so like I'm busy like an hour a day. I have about is what it like on average is about how much Zoom calls I have. But so like all my stuff that's not racing related, I could manage throughout the day pretty easily because I have a lot of free time. But pretty much when my dad gets home, we all go in the garage and work until probably about like 9:00, and then come inside, shower, go to bed, and repeat it the next day.
So, yeah,
basically.
Absolutely. So are there other family members that are involved with your racing or help, grandparents or anything?
Yeah, we're pretty lucky where all of our family's pretty involved with the racing. So my grandparents, like both my grandfathers, they like to come and help, and they like to come to the tracks when they can. And I mean, one of my grandma, she's very nervous, but she still loves to watch us race. And she always is, she's kind of cooks the food at the track and all that. My mom's big at the track. She always makes sure we're all eating and drinking. And
Mom's taking care of making sure you're staying hydrated and you're eating something besides just a hot dog. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So what do you think it takes to be successful? And I don't necessarily mean successful as far as like winning a race. There's a lot of other things that go into being a success, what I'd call a success on and off the track. So what do you think it means to be successful, Haylee?
Definitely a bunch of different things. I think everyone's success is different. Just depends on what you want to do. I think if you have the drive to be what you want to be, it's definitely what you need. I also think that your personality is a lot to success. I mean, you could be, for example, like a NASCAR driver, but you could have a very bad personality. And to me, I don't know, that's just my thing, is I don't really think that's very good, but I think just personality and drive and just have a goal that you want to reach.
Yeah. Sophia?
I would say having the motivation to like be what you want to be and pursue your dream in the industry, and I think that's the key to success, is wanting to do it.
Yeah, you have to be passionate about it, or it's at some point you're going to quit, give up, whatever, because if you're not passionate about what you do, and that's true of any kind of job, you better make sure that you love whatever job you go into, because it's a lifelong deal, and if you hate getting up and going to work every day, that's no good. So that's why I so encourage girls who love racing to find a career in motorsports. You know, I just looked yesterday on a website that lists careers that are, you know, jobs that are open, and there's a lot of them. And there are all kinds of jobs, from engineers to part-time ticket sales. I mean, you could just do about anything. So make sure that when you make that decision, it's something you know you're going to love for a long time. How about superstitions? Are either one of you superstitious? Do you wear the same thing? Do you always do the same thing? Sophia, let's start with you.
Yeah, I was gonna start anyways, because the more superstitious out of us two, like the green thing. They kept trying to wrap my car green, and I like argued with them. I was like fighting, like, no way you're wrapping my car green. So I got orange for last season, and like that's one thing I'm big on, like no green, and that's pretty much it. I don't wear like the same clothes or eat the same food. I kind of pretty much green, but I'm like strictly on green, like no green. So
that's funny. Okay.
Yeah,
and Haylee, you don't care about green.
I did, but I kind of just, you know, my sponsor, he wanted the green on the car, so yeah, I kind of just did that because he sponsors us and helps us out a lot. So
right. So I interviewed a girl a few days ago, and she's not a fan of green either, obviously, but she told me something I hadn't heard of, and she said, "Oh, you can never eat peanut butter on race day."
I heard the peanuts.
I've heard peanuts. And
really?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
I had never heard that till she told me. So that was new. That was a new one for me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you guys are a little bit older, you know, 17, 15. You're starting, you know, you're young women. You're starting to grow up. How do you think motorsports, or being involved in motorsports, maybe has changed how you are as far as, you know, growing up? Are there things that you've learned from being involved in motorsports that have shaped you into who you are today?
I definitely would say a lot of them are adults. So I think kind of being around all of the adults racing, even with the boat races with my dad, I think it kind of just matured me a little more, like more quickly. I'd say probably that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, I feel like being around people like that and needing to learn from your mistakes at such a young age, and like admitting to when you do wrong, and I feel like it helps your maturity level a lot, and that's probably the biggest thing.
I hear that a lot, and if I don't hear it, I observe it, because girls that I interview that are involved in motorsports tend to be more mature at a young age. And I think that's exactly why. They are around a lot of adults. They have to interact more like an adult because of that. And then, like you said, you know, you've got to learn to deal with stuff that doesn't go right. And a lot of times as a kid, if you're not involved in anything similar to that, you don't have to deal with it until you get older. So I think I love that I see a lot of maturity in kids that race. I think it's a real benefit for them in the long run. So are there very many girls that race against you, either one of you? Now, you don't race against each other, or do you?
We do in the micros.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that good or bad that you have to race your sister?
I think it's good. Like for me, I mean, like, yeah, you don't want your sister to beat you, but I think it's good because it drives us, and then we could always talk about like the track and just the night in general.
And I think with like setups and stuff, you can learn like more by having two cars instead of just one, or two drivers versus one. And I think it just helps a lot learning quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're on the track, it's more like your teammates, really.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, because you're not going to, I mean, you might want to beat, somebody's going to beat the other one. That's just how it is. But it's not like you're out there to wreck them in order to win, you know, for sure. Yeah. I had a little boy and I had a little girl on, and her brother was on, and he wrecked her. He had wrecked her one time, and I said, "Oh, that's not a good thing." He said, "Oh no, it was bad." So you don't want to wreck your sibling out on the track, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think motorsports is a good sport then for girls to be involved in?
Yeah, I think if you have interest in it, you should definitely do it and not be scared to get into it just because you are a girl. Because I do think like it is changing. Like there are a lot more girls in the sport. Like, and I just think, yeah, if you want to do it, you should just do it.
I agree.
Sophia, a lot of girls involved when you go to race?
There's certain tracks, but on like an average, there's probably at least one. If there is one, it'd probably be like one or two, but there's not like a lot. Yeah.
And is that more in the sprints?
Yeah, the micros.
Yeah, the micros.
I know at Stafford, there's like 5 or 4 other girls pre-registered for the season, and I'm excited because that's like a kind of a lot.
That is kind of a lot. And yeah, I think they have quite a few women in all the different classes. So
They do.
yeah, so that's good for sure. So how would you like to make an impact on motorsports? You know, everybody kind of has their thing that they do, and you know, down the road someday when you're old and you look back on your career and you say, you know, I really helped motorsports because I did this. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is I would love to make a difference with like little kids. Like, you know, it's probably
That's exactly what I was gonna
yeah,
say.
like
Well, your sisters, you're going to think a lot alike.
yeah, and especially like little like girls, like just make sure they like know like you can do it. Like it's gonna be hard and it's not gonna be easy, but it's definitely, like I said, racing isn't just guys. There's a lot more girls in it. The like longer it goes, and yeah, I just say like that'd be my biggest thing. I'd hope I could help little kids get into the sport.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was gonna say. Influence little kids and like show them that it just because even girls too, like just because you're a girl, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Like you can do just as much as a guy can if you have the will and like want to learn and you want to keep doing it. So that's what I would say is an impact.
Yeah. So Sophia, we're going to let you start first this time because she's taking the words right out of your mouth.
I know.
Who have you looked up to in motorsports? Do you have a mentor or someone that you looked up to that you tried to be like that person?
I would say David Gravel. Since day one, Johnny, Haylee's gymnastics coach, was pretty good friends with him, and Gravel came to the quarter midget track for a whole day with us to test and taught us a bunch of different things. He comes to the garage. We see him at World of Outlaw races that we visit, and like we keep in contact, and we're like family friends with them too. So I would say him out of all the drivers, and it's just a good relationship to have.
Yeah, it is. Haylee, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean the whole Gravel family. David Gravel. If we go to see him at a race, he's always there talking to us, and he always tries to give us tips, and he's just always helping us out. Even his family, his dad, you know, like he fixed my car. He does all of that for us, and he helps. They all help, and they're all very nice people.
Yeah, it's always good to have somebody like that you can look up to and feel like you can call if you have something. It's like, hey, my car's doing this. What do you think? So that's always good for sure. So have you been given any advice that has kind of stuck with you, or some kind of quote or anything at all that, you know, just is something that kind of comes to mind when maybe you're having a bad day, or even something that you've printed and stuck in your car, anything like that?
You want?
No, because I don't have anything.
Okay, that's all right. You don't have to. Just curious.
There was this thing. I don't remember the exact words, but it was Travis Pastrana. I've always been a big fan of Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
He's just always like,
he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a very nice guy, and he raced the boats with my dad. So yeah, he was super cool. But he always, you know, he just full sends all the time. You know, like, and yeah, I would just say like he just says stuff, and it just like sticks with me.
Yeah, just if you follow him at all, he's very cool. I watched him. I've seen him a couple times, but I watched him race in it was in Arizona a few years ago. It was not long after the Cup. It was like maybe the week after the NASCAR Cup Series ended in Phoenix, and they had a road race thing out at one of the tracks. was so cool. And I went, and it was hot as heck that day, and no shade. But Kyle Busch was also racing, and somebody else. There was 3 of them that I wanted to see, and so I stuck it out in the heat. But what fun that was to watch, because he's just a daredevil. There's no other 2 words about that.
No,
for sure.
seriously. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
went to PRI and he was like, I don't know if you heard of PRI.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, did you go to the breakfast thing in the morning?
No, I didn't.
Well, he was the guest speaker.
Yeah.
And it was just funny. He rode it on a dirt bike and it was great. But
I
don't
heard
really have
that.
any quotes that stuck with me. Like, that's why I didn't answer first, because I have like no idea what I would say. But probably just to keep pushing towards your goal is probably one thing, is like the biggest thing, because you have to be motivated if you want to succeed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I was at PRI, and I actually was at the Women with Drive event. Did you guys go to that?
Was that the lunch?
That was it was on Tuesday and Wednesday. It was like the all-day seminars that they had.
Oh, no, we did this like lunch thing on Thursday.
Okay. I'll have to send you the link, because the Women with Drive, there were 650 women there involved in motorsports.
Oh,
And these are like women in the top of, there's some big name women that you would recognize. So I'll send you some information about it so that you can check it out next year, because it's the Tuesday and Wednesday right before PRI, and then you go to PRI.
Yeah.
I heard about that at that lunch we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next year. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. And you would benefit a lot from going, for sure. So, and your dad can go. It's not just women, it's probably 95% women, but there was girls your age there, and their dads were with them, or their moms, that brought them. And so it can be a family deal for sure. So social media, you girls, I'm sure, are on social media. How do you promote your team, or share about how you do? Do you share, we're going to be at Stafford and we won this race, or how do you use social media?
Yeah, I mean, I post weekly, definitely, for like my race recaps. I just do a quick race recap with a couple pictures, and I try to do that every week during the race season, and I try to do a bunch of Instagram stories, kind of just like, even if it's not like, I went to the Chili Bowl just to watch, but I tried to like post on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely could do better like on my social media. I just have to kind of get out of my comfort zone a little, because I'm not very good at recording myself speaking, but
yeah, that's just all that is practice.
Yeah.
And what you have to remember is, or what you have to think about is, when you're recording into your phone, you're talking to yourself. Don't think about who's going to listen later. Just be like, or like you're talking to me, or you're talking to your sister. Just make it casual. Don't put pressure on yourself about it, because people want to see who you are. They don't want to see somebody that you're trying to be. They want to see who is Haylee, who's the real Haylee, or who's the real Sophia. And so, make sure that you put yourself out there, for sure. That's how you get known. That's how you get new sponsors, and that's going to help you in the long run. Sophia, what about you?
Yeah, I would say the same thing, like weekly race caps. Try to do stories here and there about like what we're doing in the shop or where we're headed for that weekend. But
yeah,
I need to get a lot better at social media. I don't really like posting that much, or like she said, like talking into a camera, but I'm trying to get better at like being awkward, and because it means a lot in racing. It's like you really have to get yourself out there if you want to like make something of it, and social media is a huge thing in it right now.
Yeah, it is. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to record yourself, I was just thinking, if you girls are in the shop together, one of you record, hey, my sister, and she's got grease on her face and whatever, and hey, look what my sister's up to, or do each other at first to get more comfortable, or even at the racetrack. It's not always about when you're on the racetrack. It's what are you doing when you're not on the racetrack,
Exactly.
and put yourself out there. So I'm going to challenge you to get better at that and to do that. Okay. And when you post something, then you've got to tag me, Women's Motorsports Network, tag me, and then I'll be able to see what you're doing and encourage you to keep it up. Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good. So is there anything that we haven't talked about, either one of you, that you want to share or that we should have discussed?
Not really. I think I talked about my plans for next year and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for you to be at Stafford. And Indy. You're going to race 4 times at Indy?
Yeah, so there's this new IRP series.
Yeah, I know.
They just started it up, so I'm really excited about that. It's it's really cool to be part of something that's like just starting, and
right.
I think it's gonna have a lot of success. And
I think so too.
It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it is going to be really cool. Yeah, I'm aware of that, and I think that's going to be awesome for you to do for sure. And you're going to meet so many more people and different people, and it's going to be really good for you to do that. I'm glad to hear that for sure. Yeah. Well, girls, I don't have anything else to ask you about that I can think of. So I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day, school day, but a little flexible day for sure. And we'll get this posted here soon so people can listen to your story. So if you want to hang on just a second after I end the recording, I've got a little paperwork to do.
Okay.
All right.
That's it for this episode of the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. We hope you've been inspired by the stories I shared today and feel more connected to the amazing community of women in motorsports. Remember, whether you're behind the wheel, in the pits, or cheering from the stands, your story matters. And together, we're driving change and celebrating every milestone. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who loves motorsports as much as you do. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more incredible stories. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep racing through life. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, where every woman's story is worth celebrating.